All right, I'm super excited. Our co-founder of the collaborative movement, the guy that has built a massive business called Agent Launch, which is making huge impact with hundreds of agents globally. This guy's a digital marketing master genius, and he's probably one of the more handsome bald guys that I know as well. I hate to say that, Eric, but man, like you're looking good. You're looking sharp, buddy. So Eric Preston, I'm turning it over to you, man. Thanks for being a host and making time for us today on the Joe Schmo Show.
The Joe Schmo Show, is that the name
Joe,
now?
The Joe Schmo Show. I just unofficially call it that.
Cool. James says, Eric, you're under arrest. We won't talk about why. All right, guys. Thanks for the warm intro. I think I see a lot of familiar faces in here, so I think a lot of you guys know who I am at this point. I mean, Jason and the team and I have been collaborating for quite some time, and one of the things I'm most passionate about is YouTube. So I've done my best to put together a slide deck for everyone to break YouTube in a really simple way. I think a lot of people overcomplicate YouTube, and that's why they don't end up doing it. But that's also the reason why there's a blue ocean of opportunity with YouTube, is because most people think it's harder than it is. I think you just need the right guidance, and you need to be taught how to keep it simple. Okay. So there's a number of reasons I think YouTube is where you should put some, if not a lot, of your energy. And so I'm going to get into that in today's class. I want to keep this interactive. So if you guys have questions, I'm going to stop periodically and ask. There is probably a lot of details that'll come up for you guys that you want to know. Also, just for any of you that aren't aware, I have a YouTube channel myself. I've been building over the last couple of years. That's been quite successful. Still today, the #1 source of new clients for our company, Agent Launch. Built that up to about 23,000 subscribers. So it's been a big part of my life. It's changed my life, to be quite honest with you. And so I spend a lot of time with through Agent Launch today and our team of 15, helping other people execute like Google and YouTube strategies and how to put those things together. We really like to focus on search engines, because search engines give you search intent, meaning you can capture audiences of people who are searching for things very specific to what you offer, unlike social media, where you're kind of posting content out to a blanket audience without a whole lot of intent. So agenda for today, we're going to talk about why YouTube. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time there. We're going to go through some case studies. I want all of you to go through and click follow on all of these accounts I'm going to show you, because that's one of the best ways to get inspired, but also to learn YouTube, is by following people who are good at it. I'm going to go through my 10 steps to succeed, keep it really simple. And then we're going to do a live demo of how to upload a video and just go through the process so everyone can kind of see it. At the end, we'll do a bit of a Q&A. How's that sound?
Amazing.
Can I get a 1 in the chat from everyone if that sounds good, and a 2 if it doesn't sound good? Okay, cool. There's no 2s. I was hoping that'd be the case. Cool. So why YouTube? Well, there's a lot of reasons, and I'm going to take you through a lot of them. One is YouTube is really big. So believe it or not, Facebook is still the biggest social media platform. Can you believe that? I think we all know it's on the decline, and on the decline for some years. But YouTube is second as far as monthly active users. So YouTube is massive, and it is hugely growing. Not only that, YouTube is a monopoly, and this is not something that a lot of other platforms can say, right? Do you guys know what I mean? Like, what's YouTube's competitor? They don't have one. So it's not going away. Really important to point out. YouTube's really sticky, meaning the average, there's 1 billion hours of YouTube watch per day. Can you believe that? That's if every person on the planet watched 10 minutes of YouTube every day. It's crazy. There's 2.5 billion active users, 5 billion videos watched daily. It's huge. Another thing with YouTube is it's highly targeted, meaning the people you're creating your content for is highly targeted. Like I talked about earlier with keywords. This is one of our collaborative members, Carrie Davies. This is a video that I helped him work on, pros and cons of living in Victoria. He has 13,000 views. I know he's generated at least 5 clients from this, if not more at this point. But why is this important? Well, your content is getting shown to people who don't know you, who are typing in things like, what's it like to live in Victoria? How perfect of a client is that person? So if you talk to anyone that's done YouTube for long enough, how many of you have done YouTube for a little while now? Just a quick show of hands. How many of you have a client from YouTube? Karen, I know you do. You're one of my examples. So you can probably speak to anyone who's done YouTube, and Jason. Jason, how are the conversations different when someone reaches out to you from YouTube versus like a paid ad strategy or even a referral?
Man, I gotta say, like, they're probably some of my favorite leads because they already feel like they know, like, and they already know you. They feel like they talk to you like they know you. It's yeah. Video is probably, outside of obviously a warm referral, the warmest way that you can receive a lead.
Totally. And like, I experience this, guys, all the time. People get on a call with me, a sales call, and they're like, Eric, I've watched all your videos, and they've spent a few hours looking at a screen with my head on it. And at that point, we've built a lot of trust, so we can get down to brass tacks. And it's like, once you have this effect in your business, it can be really, really impactful. So one of the big things is it's really highly targeted. The other thing is it's cost recovering. Once you get at a certain scale, my YouTube channel made $23,000 last year. I definitely did not spend $23,000 on the editing and filming. So it actually netted me a profit in and of itself. And if I lived in the right place in the world, I could probably even live on that. I could probably live on that where I'm at. So you can actually recover the costs you invest in equipment, editing, and all of that over time. Okay. That's going to take time though. Another big thing is YouTube is evergreen. So a lot of your content will work for you for years. So this is a conversation I have with people all the time, is like, even though YouTube is a slow burn, it's a slow start, your content, like, what's the value per hour invested in your content? Think about that. Because like, I made this video, took me an hour, took me probably another hour to do, the peripherals around it. And I published that on November 26, 2020. So that video has made me $6,389. It's been live for over a year and a half, year and 3/4. And it's still getting like 30, 40 views a day. I guess 34 views in the last 48 hours. So it's not obviously where it was, but it's still feeding people into my channel. It's still feeding those new people into my channel. It's still getting referred by other videos, and it's still working for me almost 2 years later. So YouTube is highly, highly evergreen. Another thing with YouTube is it's compounding. So this is something a lot of people don't understand. Social media doesn't compound. When you post Instagram reels and Instagram posts, people are always looking for that next dopamine hit on Instagram and TikTok, right? It's just new. YouTube compounds. When your videos are a year and a half old and they're still generating views, over time, your new videos all start to feed each other. That's why I say with YouTube, don't expect anything for 6 months. Give it time, be patient, but YouTube compounds, okay? So all your videos start working for you. Jesse, always with the questions. I love it. So yeah, highly compounding, and over time, your videos start to feed each other. They start to point to each other. YouTube recognizes that, and they elevate all your videos in the algorithm, and it just starts to grow, right? So my YouTube channel is at a point where, I got 112 views in the last 60 minutes, and I haven't published a video for a little while. It's been a while. And so another thing with YouTube, guys, is it provides content for all your other platforms. This is a really big thing. If you make long form content, you can easily chop it up into short form content and post it on social media. You can email your YouTube videos out and create a long-term nurture strategy just with video. So if you focus on YouTube as your core thing, it will create long form content or short form content. Another thing with YouTube is it's really easy to niche. It's keyword based. So if you can target these little areas, like Anderson Island is a tiny little place near Seattle. Linnea is one of our clients. She generated 8 listings from this one video that you're looking at here. 8 listings. She just got another listing last week, and she told me about it. I said, what is that, 5 now? She said, no, 8. So this one little video with 1.3 thousand views that she posted 1 year ago, no, October 22nd, 2020. So that's almost 2 years ago. And it just got her another listing. How cool is that, right? And why? Because Anderson Island is not somewhere a lot of people are competing over. So it's a very niche little place that she's picked up 8 listings now just from that. She spent $400 on that video. Pretty cool, right? So let's get into some case studies, because I think that one of the most fun ways to do YouTube is to find people you like and try and replicate what they're doing. So I'm just going to go through some examples, and I hope this inspires everyone. This is Jennifer Gramlin, which is moving to Nashville, Tennessee. She's done over 50 transactions from her YouTube channel in the last 12 months.
Same.
Subscribers are not everything. If you look at someone on Instagram that has 1,800 subscribers, do you think they would have done over 50 deals just from that? I highly doubt it, right? I think the best of the best of the best on Instagram are doing that. Like, and they probably have 15,000 subscribers or more. So 1.5 years in, guys, 1.5 years into doing this, she's just committed to it as a client acquisition channel. And I think that's like anything. Jason, I know you promote this a lot. Get focused, right? Get focused and not distracted. And that's one of the big things we teach at Agent Launch as well, is like, cut out the noise. Like in our program, we don't teach you how to set up your Instagram profile so it's all pretty. I don't think that's that important. Like, focus on one channel that you love and that you're good at. You can extrapolate a lot from that. And I think these are really good examples. Levi Lask, I don't know his name, but he's living in Dallas, Texas. He's also 1.5 years in. He has a team of 14. His only lead source, I don't know if it's his only lead source, but his 100% his main lead source is YouTube. He doesn't do anything else. He's done talks about this, but I don't know how much business they do, but I'm estimating it's over 100 deals a year. So he's been doing this for 1.5 years, been incredibly successful. Okay. So you'll notice a theme with some of these channels: moving to Nashville, living in Dallas, right? They build their brand around that name. Follow these people. Everyone go on YouTube and make sure you follow these people. Rochelle Manguino in Toronto. She's done, I think 20 to 30 deals. I'm just verifying. I know her husband quite well. About 20 to 30 in the last 12 months. She's only been doing it for 8 months. But what happened was she had a video that just absolutely took off. She has 145,000 views on this one video about moving to Toronto. And she has more business she can handle from YouTube. Give her a follow. She's done a really good job in a really short amount of time. Tom Story, another good example. Tom Story is a bit of a different example. He's been in the business for 6 years. He gets an appointment every 2 days. He does 1.3 million in GCI a year. He has a 350 person database. All he does for the most part is focuses on video strategy and really working that video strategy into his database, which you have to earn your way into that database. It's not like he's trying to build it into the thousands. He's focused on a core small amount, just really leveraged being an authority on YouTube. He's often on the news, and it's gotten him into some really interesting positions. Now I'll go over a couple of my clients who are a bit newer to give you a less, extreme example. Todd Barrett, he's been with us for 2 months. He's really taken the bull by its horns in terms of leveraging our video strategy, done a really good work on it with our editor on branding. He's done 3 deals firm. He has about 5 in the pipeline. No, he has more than that. He has about 30 million in volume in the pipeline already 2 months in. Now, keep in mind, this is a combination of Google, PPC, and YouTube together, but they're really working together. And that's one thing we really focus on. That's only 2 months in. Linnea, she's 2 years in. She's done 4 deals just raw from, sorry, I forgot one. 14 deals in the last 12 months from YouTube. She's also done a significant amount from Google and working those together. But again, 358 subscribers, right? Todd has 58 subscribers. You don't have to have a huge account to do well with YouTube. Karen's another one who's on this call. She's in South Africa. You said you did about 10 to 15, Karen, from your YouTube channel?
Yes, Eric, I think so. For the past year, it's hard to know because sometimes they watch your videos and then they call and you don't really know where they come from. Mm-hmm. But after they are quite familiar on the call, I usually ask them, "Are you from YouTube?" and they say yes. So
there you go. So South Africa, much less competitive market for YouTube. So if you happen to find yourself in one of these little markets that's not very competitive, see that as an opportunity, because it's easy to rank #1 when there's not a whole lot of people in it, right? So Karen's done a significant amount of business from that. She's also had a lot of agents reach out to her about joining her team from that as well. So that's a cool runoff effect for any of you EXP people or people with a brokerage. So any questions about case studies, guys? I just want to give you a lot of people to follow because I think following good people will give you good inspiration to doing it yourself.
Eric, I'll give you another case study. Bob from our team, from 2 YouTube videos, which is strategies that you taught us. He just put his second deal together off a video that he did like 2-3 months ago.
Beauty.
And it's starting to work, man. It's starting to pick up. Like we're starting to get a lot more people coming in. And you told us, you're like, be patient, be consistent, and just stay with it. And man, it's unreal, like how powerful it is. And it's like you have video is working for you while you're sleeping or while you're doing other things. It's like a very passive way of generating opportunities. It's very effective.
Yeah, that's what I would call brand leverage, is when you get this at a high level, you know, your videos are working for you while you eat, while you sleep, while you do everything. Once you leverage your time out to like a team member, an ISA, assistant, whatever it is, then you can have that person actually sending your content to people for you. You can have your drip campaign sending your content to people for you. You can have systems working for you to build trust with people on autopilot. It's a really cool feeling once it starts happening and you realize it's happening. And that's a great example with Bob. Thanks for adding that. So you guys want to talk about the 10 steps to success?
Absolutely. Do you want us to put one in the chat again?
We can skip it this time.
Okay.
Thanks, Andrew. So I've broken this down to try and be really simple as far as like the workflow I like to go through. So just pay attention to these 10 steps. It should help you keep things simple. So first one we've kind of touched on, which is find some inspiration. Research and duplicate. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Find someone you like, who you resonate with, who you want to be like on YouTube, and start trying to duplicate some of the things they've done well, right? So I would say find 2 channels that have done well, whose style you like, and plan about 10 videos to get yourself excited and inspired. And like, look at someone who's done, you know, a decent amount of business, who's got somewhere with their YouTube channel. Just note that when you go to a YouTube channel and like you look at their old videos, like you look at like let me give you an example. This moving to Nashville, Tennessee. When you go to a channel, just be careful how you look at it, okay? Because you might go to her channel and you might go all the way to the bottom and you might see, oh, this she posted a year ago. It's not actually a year ago. It's going to be November 12th, 2020. So it's more than a year and a half ago. And you might see 7,617 views. That doesn't mean she got those views after she uploaded it. I bet you anything those views came in the last 6 to 9 months, more than the first 6 to 9 months. And so just be careful of how you look at this, because your old videos will grow in volume over time. What often happens with a YouTube channel is you get one video that takes off and then it starts to feed the rest of your videos, okay? So that's what happened to Kerry Davies. So if I look at Kerry Davies in Victoria, that's exactly what happened to him. So he had this one video, pros and cons, and then that video started feeding his other videos because this was the entry point into his channel. And then people started going down the rabbit hole and they started watching his other content. So you want to almost take the mindset of like, be patient, find someone that inspires you, focus on taking action and detach yourself from the end result, knowing that one day, one time, one video will just catch wind and it'll get traction and it'll start to feed your other content. It happened to me. It's happened to a lot of my students. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it's pretty quick. For Rochelle, that example I showed you, it was quite quick. She had that one video, like, don't move to Toronto, Ontario, exclamation point, exclamation point. Just be patient with it. But also be careful of how you look at these channels, because I guarantee like they were a slow burn as well most of the time. So find inspiration, map out 10 videos. Don't expect anything for 6 months. That's step one. Second is branding. Think about your brand. Think about how your YouTube channel plays into your brand. There's a couple things I recommend if you guys are starting out. I think Andrew Hollandchuk, you're a great example of Victoria Property Group, Sims Real Estate. Having a solid brand you can build a team around. I'm a big supporter of that. Todd Barrett in our program is a good example. Living in Kona, Hawaii is his channel. His website is livinginkona.com. His Google My Business is Todd Barrett, Living in Kona, Hawaii, Refocus Realty. The other example is the personal brand, which was Linnea Carver, linneacarver.com, Linnea Carver eXp Realty. Just a way to think about how to work your brand into your YouTube channel. You want your website to be easy to say, and you want it to line up with your channel name. These living in channels tend to do quite well because the keyword life living tends to be pretty good. So I have a whole bunch of examples of this, but if you don't have a brand, think about it. Like one of my clients is Life on Oahu. lifeonoahu.com. Lex Ferguson Life on Oahu, and that's his team name, right? Think about that and how you want to build your channel into that brand. There's a few simple things you can do, like plan out your colors, your banner, and your thumbnails. And if you have a good editor, they can work on that for you. Third thing is equipment. This is what I recommend, guys. I used to have a couple options. This is what I recommend generally today. Get yourself a decent camera, get a decent microphone, and get a little tripod, okay? I say this, if I unblur my background, this is my setup. So this is a slight level up from the one I'm showing you, but this is the one I used to use, and it's a great setup. This one's a little bit more expensive than I'm holding in my hand, but if you have a GorillaPod tripod, you can put it around little things like this in your house to get it to the right height when you're filming. It's very flexible and malleable that way. This will give you all you need to film right here. This really simple setup, a decent camera, decent mic, decent tripod, that's it. If you want, you can use your iPhone, you can use your smartphone today. I think that's totally fine. You just need a smartphone holder. This little microphone here, you see this gray attachment on the end? That's called a TRRS adapter. With Rode, it's in gray. That's the one you'll need if you want to connect it to a phone. If you want to connect to the camera, you'll get a black tip adapter, okay? So this is a really simple setup that I would recommend. You don't have to complicate it more than that. Yes, you can film with a webcam and a computer mic and all that stuff. Totally works fine. But this is probably the simplest thing you can do, because then you can take this setup into a neighborhood and you can film out there too. Any questions about equipment?
Hey, Eric, I have the Sony ZV-1 and I've done tons of research on it. I had it for about a year and absolutely love it. It acts as my webcam, but when I want to shoot some videos, I just put it on my tripod and it's super user friendly.
Yeah, and I had it too. Andrew, I remember we bought it at the same time.
Yes.
But yeah, super good camera, super simple. It'll do everything you want and more. Step 4, guys, is backdrop and lighting. Think about this. I'm sitting right now in the spot that I film. So I filmed an ad the other day, and does this look good? Like the lighting, backdrop in this photo, like this is a video, it looks pretty good, right? So all this is this setup that you're looking at right now that I just showed you in front of a window. That's all that is. It's nothing fancy. Keep it simple, keep it easy. Don't try to be a director of photography, just leverage a window in front of you, leverage natural light. That's the easiest thing you can do with your setup. If you get a decent depth of field, you're going to get this, like if you're in a room like I'm in now, you can get this depth of field with a decent camera and it can look super professional. Have a few lights on in the background, looks really nice. Do you have any questions about that? But like, keep it simple. Don't obsess about this. I see a lot of people like obsessed. They want to be like a YouTuber and have all these like special stuff in the background. It's more about what you say and how you deliver it than the presentation. Any questions about backdrop lighting? It's hard to light yourself well with lighting if you don't know what you're doing. You can do it, but using a window will give you all the natural lighting you need. I'm in front of my window right now, right? Leverage that. Step 5 is scripting. So planned content over ad lib content, okay? You want to make sure you're planning your content out. So the first like 10 videos you make you should try and focus on videos that are going to potentially have big reach. Because what's our goal? Our goal is to get that one video that hits, right? So you can get that one video that hits. If you're going to market like Dan and Ryan in Vancouver, you know, the top videos of like living in Vancouver, how many views do they get? Well, 537,000 2 years ago, still ranking #1, right? So if you're in those markets, like you really want to go for that one video that's going to get that 25K, that 67K views. So start working on those videos, right? You can always redo them again later once you're better and take another shot at it, but you're really trying to get that one video. So plan out what those videos are, script them out. Don't forget your call to actions. The #1 mistake I see my students make is they forget their call to actions, or their call to actions are really murky, unclear, complicated. The #1 call to action you can make is you can stop in the middle of your video and say you're talking about like interest rates or whatever. You can, you know, home value. I was just critiquing a client's video. They're talking about are estimates accurate? And so a really natural call to action that is like, look, I know this might sound complicated, but if you're looking to get an accurate home valuation, feel free to book a call with me down in the description. I'd be more than happy to do it for you as a real estate professional. Keep your call to action singular and simple. Make sure you're focusing on getting people to book appointments. So you have Calendly set up, you have Google Calendar connected to your Calendly, and you have Zoom connected to it as well. And go for booked appointments. Like Tom's story, that guy I showed you, he gets one appointment every 2 days, right? Imagine if you're at that place where all the videos you've worked on in the last year are booking you an appointment every 2 days, and it's a high quality appointment because it's someone who's watched your videos. Wouldn't that be a nice place to be? Make sure you don't forget your call to actions and make them really simple. General structure of a video, guys, I'm just going to take you through my basic script, okay? The first thing you want to do in your script in your video every time, make sure you guys pay attention to this. This is one of the biggest things I see people go wrong, is they start the video by, hey, my name is Jason Smart. I'm a licensed realtor in Nanaimo, British Columbia. You don't want to start your video that way. You want to say, are you thinking of moving to Nanaimo, BC? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you my 7 favorite neighborhoods, and I'm going to show you also one that you may not, or that you may want to avoid. I've been selling real estate in this market for over 7 years, so I think I'm in a valid position to give you this advice. If you have any questions about the real estate market, you can feel free to book a call with me. I'd be more than happy to give you my time and offer some advice about moving here, but let's get into the content of this video. So you want to start with a hook. Don't be afraid to make a long hook. The first 30 seconds of the video is the most important part of the video. That's where most of your viewership is going to drop off. So you want to have as strong of a hook as you possibly can. So I can just reference this script here to kind of show you what I mean. Let me like zoom in on this. But basically, you can say Nanaimo is known for X. Are you thinking about moving here? Well, I've lived here for over 10 years and helped so many people move here as well. And I absolutely love it. In this video, I'm going to break down the top 10 pros and top 10 cons of living in Nanaimo, which should help you decide if it's the right place for you. What's up, everyone? It's Jason Smart here from the Sims Real Estate Group, and I've been selling real estate here for over 10 years. If you're in the market and need some guidance, you can book a quick intro call with me using the Zoom in the Calendly link description below. I'd be happy to help. Now let's get into it. So you want to start with your hook people in, tell them why they want to stay, then introduce yourself, provide a call to action, and get really quickly into the content. That whole thing should take you 30 seconds or less. You don't want to drag on your call to actions in the beginning. You're just going to drop off viewership. And the number one thing you need to know about getting your videos ranked is you need people to click on your videos first. That's a title and thumbnail combination. Then you need to get people to stick around and watch your video. Watch time is everything. Okay. So first goal is to get them to click. That's your thumbnail, your title, keywords. Second goal is to get them to stay. As simple as I can put it. Anyone have any questions about this? I feel like I get a lot of questions on this part.
I think this is part of what you guys cover in your agent launch program too, right? Like if I'm a client working with you guys, this is part of many things that you guys do, but you guys actually help your clients with this kind of thing.
We do, yeah. I've pre-scripted like all the content that I give to you, and I just got off my content strategy call right before this. That's why I was a minute or two late, where we actually watch your videos and I'll give you this critical feedback to say like, hey, your call to action was like way too wordy and long, or your intro wasn't long enough, or it wasn't grabby enough. Like, you know, when you watch those videos and they really hook you in, that's kind of the effect you want to have. But yeah, we do support our clients with all this for sure. Any other questions about scripting, guys? I can even provide a scripting template, like a basic empty one of this, if that's helpful for everyone. And I'll get into a little bit more tips and tricks around that in a little bit here.
That's what I was going to ask, if there's like a basic scripting for this and just best practices. That'd be so handy.
Yeah, for sure. The biggest best practice is like use proven scripts, like proven formulas and proven videos that you know have potential to get big reach, and just don't stress yourself out about this. Use bullet points. Like, don't try and script every word. If you're going to script every word, do it in the hook, and then rehearse it, and then just go on and film it. But let's get into filming, because that's kind of the next step. So step 6 is to actually film. So you're looking at right beside me, this is my setup. Okay. It's nothing complicated, super, super simple. That's how I film my videos. So keep it simple. Second big advice, guys, I see with almost everyone who starts out on video is your first video, you talk too quiet and too slow. So when you're presenting, get into presentation mode, speak up and speak faster. On camera, it won't come off that way. It'll come off feeling natural. So like, if you need proof of this, film something, watch yourself. You're probably going to think you talked a little too slow and sheepishly. Raise the level of your voice and talk a little bit faster. It will sound totally normal on camera. Other piece of advice, guys, when you're filming is don't stop. A lot of people will like press record, film something, they don't like it, stop, start over, film again. Don't do that. Film one long clip. This is the easiest thing you're going to do for your editor, and also speak to your editor in the shot. So if I'm filming, I re-record shit all the time. I'll film like an intro, like, fuck, sorry guys, I'll refilm it again. And it's okay to swear in the middle, air your grievances, and reshoot it until you like it. And then tell your editor, hey, be sure to use that last one. That's the one I liked. Don't bother with on and off, on and off, on and off. Just shoot one long clip, reshoot every part you didn't like. Keep your position in front of the camera, like film. I didn't like that. And then just go back to a natural break point. Keep your hands where they are if you can, or if you remember where they are. And like your editor will just cut that stuff out. It'll go together really well. I assure you. You know those videos that cut a lot? Like that is basically them stitching pieces together. Like there's some ads and stuff I've shot a piece of it like 5 or 6 times and you would never notice. So don't stop, just film it in one shoot. Your editor will edit it out, and talk to your editor in the filming. You can also do something like this, where you clap and it puts a spike in the waveform, and your editor will see that that's something to pay attention to. So yeah. The easiest way to, well, we'll talk about editing in a minute. Don't forget this step, guys. After you film, don't forget this. I've done this so many times. After you film, take your thumbnail photo. This is that video from Rochelle that got 156,000 views in 4 months. Don't move to Toronto, Ontario. See her thumbnail? I can't stand Toronto. Sad face, frustrated face, disappointed face, whatever makes sense, right? It's clickbaity, but it works. So with your titles and your thumbnails, it's arguably one of the most important things you should spend time on. I always work with our clients on this piece because it's really important. Like, make sure your title and your thumbnail and what you say on your thumbnail complement each other, but don't repeat each other. Most people will just repeat the exact same thing in their thumbnail. You don't want to do that. Like, this is a good example. Don't move to Toronto, Ontario. I can't stand Toronto. Perfect example of a title and thumbnail that complement each other. Okay. Or you could say, I hate it here, would be another one, right? Obviously, she doesn't hate it there. She's just trying to get clicks, and then she works it somehow into the flow of the video. Go watch that video if you want to see how she did it. So make sure you actually, after you film, take a few shots of you like making a like it feels weird, but like you want to make sure you do that for your video. Make an expression that plays into the title. Super important to get people to click on it and make it intriguing. Okay. So compliment and not repeat. So here's an example. 5 things I wish I knew before living in Nanaimo. Thumbnail could be like, if only. Like a disappointed face. I'm not very good at expressions. You may know me, but it usually takes me quite a few times. But have your expression be like disappointed. Your thumbnail could be like, if only, right? 5 things I really wish I knew. So make sure does that make sense, everyone? Yeah, can I get a 1 in the chat? That makes sense for everybody. 2 if it like kind of makes sense. Lots of 1s. Okay, cool. Cool. So let's keep going. Sorry, I made Zoom way too big. Right, editing. So after you've filmed, taken your thumbnail photo, you're gonna need an editor. Don't try and edit yourself. I've done this long enough now with Agent Launch that I've seen the results of the people who try to self-edit and the people who use our editor in-house. And the difference is night and day. So like, if you get an editor, it will pay for itself in the impact it's going to make on your video. It's not worth your time to try and edit yourself. It's not a high value activity. You need to put yourself in a position where you're filming and making content and not editing it and deploying it. Okay. So contract an editor. You can find someone on Upwork or Fiverr. If you do that, I'd highly recommend using someone with YouTube experience, because you are not in a position to train anyone how to use YouTube because you've never done YouTube for the most part. So like, find an editor with YouTube experience. It's really hard to teach an editor something. I promise you, I tried it. I made that mistake in the early days. Just find someone with experience and work with them. If you work in a program like Agent Launch, for example, we have an in-house editing service that Jorge, my content manager, offers up for people in our program. Another thing you're going to want to think about, guys, when you're editing, this is all technical stuff that's important, is use a simple workflow. So like, this is how I do it with Jorge. I upload my full one file plus my thumbnail photo to our content Google Drive. He downloads that, edits the video, makes the thumbnail, uploads it to YouTube unlisted with the thumbnail, with the title I put in the script, and as a full video. And then I go and I review it. So that's the next step. I'll go in and I'll review it. And if it's all good to go, I'll set it, I'll schedule it, I'll publish it. Good to go. If there's any edits that need to be done, I'll let him know, hey, at like 38:52, I need you to change this or this or this or whatever. You're probably going to need to spend more time reviewing and early on than later. These days, I just filmed a really solid ad for YouTube and Jorge edited it. I got it back and I needed one little tweak. The first time we did an ad, there was several things that need changing, but we're just at that level now where like I trust that it's going to get edited correctly the first time for the most part. So spend a little bit more time on that early on and don't be overly picky about the small things. Like Jorge and his team are in Latin America. Sometimes I get my little Instagram videos and there's like a little typo. Doesn't matter. Just forget about it. Like these little things do not matter in the grand scheme of things. Most people don't notice them. It's not important. You still get your message across. Obsess about the big picture stuff, not the little details. So pick your battles. That's something I've had to learn as well. Okay, let's talk about my favorite piece. Any questions about that before I move on? Editing, filming, stuff like that, focusing on the big picture. Anybody?
What would you recommend as fair pricing in terms of editing and how you would go about vetting people for that?
Yeah, so like the way we do it at Agent Launch is like, just to give you some context, is about $150 per video. And that does your full YouTube video edit. It does 1 or 2 repurposed videos for social media, and it does a thumbnail. So that's like more holistic. I would find an editor that can do all of that.
How long will that video be in terms of context?
Usually around 10 minutes. So like a longer video will be a bit more, like $200 or something. But the good thing in this remote world is you can generally find someone who's remote who you can pay, a reasonable amount to do this. So I would say 100, 150 a video is pretty reasonable. So, some people use someone local, you're going to pay a lot more than that, of course. Another trick here, guys, with your editors is, this is like a really good trick that we've, learned through working with a lot of people in Agent Launch, is like, get a videographer in your local market and say, hey, I'm looking for a videographer for all my listing videos, right? And say, the condition on me using you is I want you to give me all the B-roll you have of our local market so that I can use it for my YouTube videos. Most editors are going to jump on that, right? So a lot of my students have done that, where they like, with their videographer does their listing videos, that videographer probably has a lot of local footage. So they film like the lake, they film the forest, they film the shoreline, whatever. Get them to give you a lot of that footage, and you can use that in your YouTube videos to make it feel like you're actually there, when really you're just in front of your computer. You can layer in B-roll and stuff. So when you're talking about a neighborhood, you can show footage of that neighborhood, and you can leverage the editor in your market who has a lot of that footage so that you don't have to take it yourself. So I hope that's one good trick I would leverage, because you don't really want to be paying a local videographer to edit your videos. It's going to get really expensive really fast. Use someone remote, right? You can get it for a much better cost. So any other questions about that? Did that help, John?
Yeah, and then the other thing I would say would be just vetting, how you would recommend in terms of vetting people.
The only way to vet is by getting examples. And the best way to communicate with your editor is by showing them, not telling them. So like, say, That's why it's important for you to find channels you like, so you can say, this is what I want. Because if you say, this is what I want, the editor can watch it once and be like, cool, I got a good idea. If you try to tell them, it's going to get really hard, really fast. So vet them by watching videos they've done for other people. You can see the quality of the edit. So like this guy, Todd, he's one of our favorite new clients. He's been with us for like 2 months. He already has like 3 deals and like 30 million in volume. I think I talked about him, but he's used our editor, Jorge. So I'll just give you a quick example.
About living in Kona, Hawaii.
This is like a good example of like the basic structure, just so you guys can see.
Are you thinking about moving to Kona or just curious about the pros and cons of living in Hawaii? Then this video is for you. I'm going to break down the pros and the cons about living in Kona, Hawaii. Hello, hi everybody. This is Todd with livinginkona.com. And today I wanted to talk about 5 pros and 5 cons of living in Kona, Hawaii. But these are just my personal experiences after living here for 20 years, but I wanted to share them with you so that you could make an informed decision about living in Kona, Hawaii. So with that said, let's do it. Pro number 1, the weather. Hawaii's world famous for having the best weather on the planet. And with warm year-round temperatures of around 78 degrees, the Kona coast of the Big Island is no exception. And it's easy to see why people from all over the world want to come here to vacation, and people want to relocate and move here to the best weather on the planet. And being on the leeward side of the island, which is on the west coast, we benefit from many more sunny days and fewer rainy days. Pro number 2, outdoor activities. With the
So this was one of his first videos. So he's tightened up a lot of the details on these videos since, but you can see like the quality of the edit, what you want to look for, the use of B-roll, right? So
big blue Pacific Ocean is our backyard. This place is absolutely.
But keep your workflow simple. As soon as you start going out in the neighborhood filming, your workflow gets 100 times more complicated. So don't do that at first. That's a more advanced strategy I'd employ later. Yeah. Any questions about that? Editing, review, anything? Okay. Now, this is my favorite part, guys, and I think this is where most people go wildly wrong. So I'm going to spend some time here. Deploy, deploy, deploy. So videos, if you only rely on the YouTube algorithm, you're not maximizing the effectiveness of your video. So I'm going to walk through step 10.1 to 10.6 on where I would deploy your content. So first thing is obviously deploy it on YouTube. Schedule it on YouTube. You do not need a posting schedule. You do not need a magical time of the day that's going to be better than all the other times of days. Just post as you make your content. Try and make a video every couple weeks and stick to that. I will walk you through how to do this, but you can add tags. They're not that important. You can add cards, end screens, chapters if you feel like it. I'll show you how to do that and update your default upload template. I'm going to do a little live demo on how to do this if we have time. So obviously deploy via YouTube. The second thing is deploy via social media. So you can go on my YouTube social media. You can go on Jason and Joe's social media at Sims Coaching. There's certain styles that are working today. This kind of short form style with the little subtitles is a great way to go. You can chop up those videos into a few different short form pieces of content, and you can have all the content you need for social media just from your YouTube videos. And then you can layer in some other stuff as well. So repurposing to social media is a big one. Also deploying via email. So one of the best nurture and drip campaigns, email newsletters you can have is just sending people videos, right? This is how I like to do it. So this was my last video. I'll just make this a bit bigger. Have you gotten caught up in the noise about ISAs? And ISAs can be a massive way to leverage your time, make sure your leads are being followed correctly. That being said, most agents do it the totally wrong way. At Agent Launch, we place over 25 ISAs a month with our clients, and there's some big lessons we've learned along the way that I will detail in this quick 7-minute and 34-second video. So there's a couple little things I like to do in my emails. If it's a short video, say how long it is. People are more likely to click on a link if they know it's a short commitment. Secondly, post the link with the youtube.com link. People trust that. How many of you are scared to click on a link in an email sometimes? Everyone goes through it, right? So use the youtube.com link. People will trust it inherently. You can also make the thumbnail photo a little link in your email as well. I just like to use the youtube.com link. Keep the email short so people read it. The goal is to push them back to YouTube. Do that within the first 24 hours of launching your YouTube video. That's when you want to really push the video for viewership. That will affect the algorithm positively. 10.4 is deploy via text. This is one of my favorite things to do, guys. So this is great for proactive outreach for all of you working with Sims and Jamie and Joe and the ISA team. I'm sure they drill this in your head constantly, is like proactive, thoughtful outreach, right? I love this. Hey, Jason, I noticed you were searching for homes in Kona a lot lately, so I wanted to send you a quick video on some of the things many buyers aren't aware of when buying a home in Kona. Let me know if this is helpful, right? Send them a quick text. Hey, here's a helpful video based on what I'm seeing on your search. How helpful is that, right? Sending this out as a proactive means of outreach and having a bank. This is why you want to bank like 10 solid videos, right? So you have these videos in your back pocket. You can just start this is like, so next one is deploying on the phone. Okay. So this is one I love as well. So this is great for objection handling. So this is a script I really, really love. So whenever you make a phone call to like a potential prospect, you get this objection. I'm just browsing. I'm not ready to talk. They push back, right? They're like, it's like when you walk into a clothing store. How many of you walk into a clothing store before and someone's like, hey, can I help you? Like first thing you're like, whoa, I just got here. Like I haven't even looked around yet. And then they hand you a brochure and they're like, oh, no worries. Here's a brochure on our sales. And they walk away. You're like, oh, that's cool. I mean, I could look at a brochure. That's kind of how I think of this. Like a lot of times you're going to get people who put the hand up in your face, right? I'm just browsing. I'm not ready. I'm super early, whatever it is. This is a great objection handler. It's like, hey, no problem. I understand you're likely very early in your process. We're just here to help and meet you where you're at. I noticed you're searching in Kona. Our team leader, Todd, actually just made a great video on his favorite neighborhoods in Kona. Would it be helpful if I sent that to you? So I'm like, yeah, sure. Why? Because it's a way for them to get you off the phone, right? So always try and end these phone calls with offering up a video. Like if you're really struggling to get over these objections, they're probably going to say, yeah, sure, just send me that video, right? And then be like, great, is it all right if I text it to you? They'll probably be like, yeah, no problem, because you're already on the phone with them. So great, text them that video after. Chances are they're going to watch it. What happens after they watch it? Well, they might like you. You might have an opportunity to build trust with them. And then next time you reach out, you're going to have a better opportunity to have a more meaningful conversation with them because they've had a chance to watch your video and you've built some trust with them. So this is something we teach our ISAs a lot to do, is not only like end conversations with sending videos, but following up on those videos later. Hey, just wanted to check in. Did you get a chance to watch that video? I'm curious what you thought about it, right? Leverage these videos on the phone over text, like deploy them, deploy. So, and yeah, exactly, Ryan. You have a reason to like follow up with them. Bonus step, guys, is add these videos to your drip campaign. So not only doing this manually, but automate it. So what we do typically is we worked off of Jason and Joe and the Sims team's 10 days of pain script. We used that formula and added video to it. So like we believe that just bombarding people with video in the first 10 days they sign up on your website or become a lead is a great way to really start building trust with them. Todd will tell you he's 2 months into this. He has so many people who are like clicking on his links, watching his videos, but not engaging with him. And so he knows based on who he's closed and who he's talked to so far, there's all these people who are 6 months out, 4 months out, 9 months out, whatever, who are watching his videos, who are going to come out of the woodworks one day because they've been sent to them automatically by text, email. So just sending out those links to the leads so that they're just getting bombarded with videos in the first few days they sign up on your site. So that's kind of the bonus step, is actually adding them to your drip campaigns. So they're going out automatically and you're really leveraging the video to your advantage to build trust with people. So let's do this together. Any questions about that?
This is awesome, Eric. Thanks, buddy.
Phenomenal value, dude. Great stuff.
Hey, Eric, question for you. Hooks, right? So is there like the best practices for hooks and all that stuff for different videos? Like, what are your thoughts with that?
Yeah, totally. I like longer hooks these days, like really going long with your hook and then doing your intro. But generally speaking, you want to just give them a really good reason to stay. So sometimes it's like, hey, I'm going to show you 5 of the best neighborhoods in the city and one you probably want to avoid, right? They're probably going to want to hear that one you want to avoid. So like hook them in by promising them something later, such as like using the negative bias, because we always want to avoid the negative, right? So you can always play into that.
Is there any like special scripts for the hooks that you have that's like templated or through the Sims? Like you guys may have it there and I haven't noticed it or looked. Like for market updates, what are good hooks for that? Like this different type of content for our videos.
Yeah, I mean, I have some scripts and stuff. We'll have to talk after. I might be able to send you something, but yeah, it really depends on the video. That's the thing. Like it really depends on what type of video.
Hey, Eric.
Yeah.
So in terms of providing value content, I'm sure you're seeing specific kind of videos outperforming other kinds of videos, or videos that typically get better engagement versus others. So would even like a market update be of significance for the people you're trying to attract? Or are you finding there's just way better content out there that we should be producing?
So here's an update that I like. Okay, I'm going to share this with you guys in the chat. Everyone click on this. This, in my view, is a really good approach to a market update. It's not a type of video I promote doing too much, but I think it's totally okay to do. I would just do it in this type of way. So these videos I like. These pros and cons videos usually are the highest performers, just so you guys know. So if you want to put more energy into one video, knowing there's a better chance it's going to have a good amount of reach, pros and cons of living, really good one.
Okay. But ultimately having a mixture of content is important then.
Yeah, you want to have a mixture of like the deep stuff that isn't going to get you a lot of views and like the stuff that will get you a lot of views. Like, you know, talking about getting pre-approved is not going to get you 20,000 views, but it's important to have that in your back pocket to deploy to potential buyers who might be early in the process, and you might help change their perspective on what the process is going to look like and educate them, right? Those are important videos to have to like educate and deploy, but don't look at them as like you're not creating a like Todd just did a bunch of videos on this. He had a little series, which I thought was cool. Which was like, he was talking about the pre-qualified versus pre-approved. And then he did like a video today we reviewed on the home loan pre-approval secret or process. And so like, he's not making those to get views, right? That's not the point of that video. That's so you can intentionally send it to people who are at that right place who need it.
So it's more about using the content as tools than it is so much as letting them just live and exist.
Yes. And the reason I focus on that is because if I were to take my YouTube coaching and focus it on getting like 100,000 views, the success rate would be very low because not everyone's going to do that. But if we focus on creating content around deploying it intentionally, you can force your content to be useful. So like deployment is what I think is really key is actually, Jason, do we got to wrap up on the hour like right away, or do we got a few buffer minutes here?
I can do a few buffer minutes for you.
Okay, sorry guys, I went a bit longer than I thought, but yeah, I hope that makes sense, Ryan. We won't have time for a live demo, obviously.
No. I was just curious that the values and obviously the deploying of the content that you're using as much as it is anything you're doing the content about.
Cool. Yeah. For me, I really do focus on the deployment. So, yeah. Anyways, you guys obviously heard me talk about agent launch. So just a little plug here. If you guys are interested in working with us, we do really set up the whole package. It's very foundational. We do start with like the Google Ads strategy to generate you leads. We build your CRM systems, your nurture campaigns. We help you set up an internal communication program so you can communicate effectively about your leads and the whole moving you off of WhatsApp groups and things like that to make you more efficient, adding some automations. We do recruit and train remote ISAs too. We've placed about 27 last month with a 92% retention rate. So we've gotten quite good at that. We do focus on sales training between you and the ISA, making sure the handoff's correct, all that stuff. And we obviously focus on content strategy and deployment is a big part of it. So once you get your videos done, we put them into your drip campaigns, make sure that's all dialed in. If you do want to consider working with us, just for everyone in this room, you can go to agentlaunch.com/enter. I'm going to do a little draw for $1,000 off our program. If you guys are interested in taking part in that, I'll send this link to you guys right in the chat. So yeah, enter that if you want. You can also click on become an owner and you can apply to work with us and book an intro call. I'm still going to do the draw, so it'll still matter to you either way. But just wanted to talk a little bit about that in case any of you are interested. And I'd love to open it up for a quick, like 2 or 3 minute Q&A if you guys got anything, because I know Jay, you got to go, I do too.
Yeah, well, people are thinking of questions. I just want to say like how awesome your team has been to work with. You know, you guys have been managing our Google AdWords campaigns for well over a year now. And, you know, we've seen a massive decrease in our cost per lead. I think we're down almost, initially it was like 40%, but overall, I think we're down like 30% in our average cost per lead from where we were before, which for our level has been significant. And the support, you know, your team's just been super responsive.
In this video, I'm going to cover.
So, yeah, just wanted to let you know like how much we've appreciated the collaboration and everything that we've been learning with the YouTube, seeing the results, been hearing amazing things about what you guys are doing over at Agent Launch too with all the work that you guys are doing. So kudos to you, man.
Thanks, brother. It's been equally as valuable to us to work with you guys and collaborate. I love the collaboration. So thanks for having me. And
Like this was phenomenal, Eric. Like seriously, I always look forward to having you on as a guest, and I hope that I can have you on more regularly, because it's always, every time, like there's so many gold nuggets that people take away, and I get so many positive comments behind the scenes too afterwards. So yeah, thank you. Like there was a ton of value, guys, and that's really what our whole collaborative movement group is about, right? Like creating an amazing value exchange where you have different experts that can really help you in your business, and you've really proven yourselves as experts at what you're doing.
Thanks so much, man. That means everything. And yeah, I appreciate you guys coming. So I think
Eric, real quick
go ahead.
question. Sorry, I'm back after having been gone for feels like forever. For those of us who are just starting with video, what do you suggest being the most important, I don't know, videos to start with as far as content goes? I love everything you've shown. I want to use the video and the Google ads, but I need to know, as I'm investing my time in this, what should I be producing that both can be valuable to drip campaigns and intentional for deployment, but also that is, you know, something that's attractive to people. So what should I be focusing on? Maybe my first five to 10 videos.
Focus on being an advocate for your community, however that might look. So like teaching people what the best neighborhoods are, the pros and cons of living there, the things you wish you knew before you moved there. Use those basic kind of like educational scripts and videos to teach your audience about your local market, right? That's one of the most impactful types of videos, right? Is like highlighting your local market, teaching people about it, showcasing your knowledge of it, and sprinkling in your expertise in real estate along the way so that you build trust with them. Because the only way they're going to want to reach out to you as a realtor is if they believe you know what you're doing. So you got to sprinkle the little bits of real estate knowledge in the value you're delivering to them about your local market. A lot of those people you're going to pick up are, yes, out of town buyers who don't know about your local market. You'll still pick up local people as well, though. But if you're their first point of contact in a new market, you're going to be the one they trust over anyone else. So focus on those pros and cons of living in, things I wish I knew before moving to, best neighborhoods to live in, things like that.
Perfect. All right. Thanks so much.
You're very welcome.
Eric, thank you again, brother. This was amazing. I hope everybody has an outstanding day. And we'll sneak one more question here. Andrew Thompson, what country is that sweet studio located in?
I'm in Huatulco, Mexico, which is in the state of Oaxaca.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, you know what? Last time I thought you were in Portugal last, and now you're in Mexico. So, you know, I love it, man. This guy is living the digital nomad dream, and it's really cool. You built massive empire and doing it literally from a laptop from all these different places all over the world, which is pretty cool.
Thank you, brother. I hope we'll do that one day too. So thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. And we'll do another one of these, and we'll do more like a live demo style to add to this one.
Eric, can I book you now, maybe like a month from now, get you for like part 2? Can you put that in your busy schedule? Because I think it's going to be in high demand.
Yeah, totally. I think you're with us next week, aren't you, Jay?
Yep. So I'll return the favor, and then yeah, we'll get you back on the docket maybe for a month out. All right, everybody, have an amazing day.
Love this. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Bye, guys.